between these two players. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you in the chat have a particular fan favorite here. We'll see what he is able to do. Game number one. Oh my god, I forgot to switch the overlay. Someone remind me for the next game I need to switch the overlay. I completely forgot about that. I blame Morrows. Can we all blame Morrows for that? Starting up at the top right hand side as our green Zerg player, currently playing for E3 Elta, I assume. Is that meant to be Delta? I'm sorry, I totally forgot about looking up the players. It is Hotspur. And down on the bottom left hand side as our red Zerg player playing for Team Quantic, it is Hyun. So this should be cool. Hyun, a very high quality Zerg player. God, it feels so clunky looking at this overlay. I haven't actually used this for casting for so long. But I do apologize for that, guys. I completely forgot to switch it over. Lots of good luck, have funs. Should be an interesting game. Zerg vs Zerg, of course, a matchup that has changed quite a lot over time. Well, especially since the Spore Crawler buff was introduced, where it now does, I think it's roughly, just the numbers off the top of my head, it does about 9 billion damage to mutas, or biological air units, or whatever. So it has changed the matchup just a little bit in regards to, it's not a safe bet to say, well, let's go mass mutas, because you get up a couple of spores and your mutas, no matter how many of them, will die. So it can be a little bit of an interesting choice to go down that particular path. A lot of players have been mixing things up, getting roaches and hydras, and even going back to old school style roach infester stuff, which is very Wings of Liberty, which we do get to see every now and then. But we are going to have a nice safe play coming out of Hyun. He does go for his spawning pool first into a hatchery, whereas our green Zerg up at the top right, Hotspur, has actually gone a little bit more daring. He's gone for the hatch gas pool, so a little bit more daring when it comes to economy. As long as he survives the early game very easily, then he should be in a nice position when it comes to his economy. So we'll keep that in mind as the game progresses. Of course, Hyun looking like he's going to go for the gasless kind of, at least partial opening here. I'll be very interested to see if he is going to go this, oh, okay, no, never mind. I was going to rant about gasless Zerg versus Zerg, so he is not actually going to go down that path. But one thing which I was going to mention was that gasless Zerg versus Zerg is something that has been coming about a little bit. You can open up, especially on this kind of map where you've got things like this small sort of choke point where you can set up your evo chambers and sort of block off and make this tiny little path where Zerglings and drones can get through. But obviously what you want to do is you want to try and set up a little bit of a wall here to protect yourself against early kinds of busts while you stay on a very gasless kind of play. Now what we're going to see here from Hotspur is a few lings coming out very quickly so he can try and scan out what's going on. Does have speed on the way. He actually has not started any drones down at the natural. We just have what some of the sea residents around here may be sort of used to calling the Jerry build. A bit of a Jerry build coming out of Hotspur here. Lots of lings now coming out. He's got 8 on the way. Speed is also over halfway done now as well. And we can see that he is going to go for what looks to be a pretty big push here. Back at home for Quantic Hyun. He's got a spine crawler up. Queen's now coming out as well. But we'll see if he's going to be prepared for this Jerry build. And it's interesting because Hyun has hardly even scouted. In fact, yeah, apart from the early Overlord scout, he has not actually picked up what is going on here, and there are going to be a lot of lings coming across the map right now. Interestingly, Hotspur is supply block now, just because that early Overlord did go down, but he is going to start sending these lings across. Hyun's going to see that, and he's going to say, uh-oh. Now, what we will probably want to see is a full wall off, and there it is. He's going to finish off the wall with an Evo chamber just here, and you know, that really blocks out a lot of this aggression. Of course, you can still just pound your head against the wall with all of these lings, maybe even bust down that queen and get inside, but of course all Hyun has to do is put up another spine, another Evo chamber over here. Hyun is, well, he's going to fend that off quite easily for now, and obviously as we look at the drone count, 17 to 31 right now. So Hyun is in an extremely powerful position right now. Keep in mind there is no Baneling nest at home because Hotspur just said, you know what, screw the Banelings, I'm just going to throw down a lot of Lings. He is going to get the Baneling nest eventually though, but as we can see, it looks as if Hyun is going to be very well protected against this kind of play with his nice solid wall up, including the Evo chambers, and yeah, that's a really unfortunate sort of position here for Hotspur. He's sort of taken the gamble and sort of said, well, maybe he won't be prepared for something like this, but I mean, this is a high-level Korean player here who not only saw what was going on, but also was just well prepared with the wall here. And obviously, now with Roaches out, even a Baneling bust is not actually going to do too much because not only are the Lings going to be easily cleaned up by the Roaches, but the Banelings, if they run into Roaches, will be just you know, kind of ineffective there. So we see now that Hotspur going for the final play. A few more Banelings are being built right now. 4 in total. He's sort of waiting for a little bit more gas. This is the unfortunate part about taking some of those drones out of gas for a little while there is that now this kind of play is even further delayed. So it's not as if he is going to have a very quick kind of bust coming through. I'm very surprised that Hyun has not sent out an Overlord just to scan out what's going on. There he goes. He's finally sending one through. Another Overlord moving into position here is going to get shot down by the Queens. Very nice little spotting there by Hyun, but the Lings are all ready to go. We'll see what kind of damage that Hotspur can get done here, but Roaches back inside the main base, 8 more just about to pop out, +1 to missile weapons. If that finishes up, then, you know, it's, if there is any kind of, pretty much done game, then this is it right now. But Hotspur gonna give it his best go. The Banelings, the Lings at the front. He's gonna head back home for a little bit right now. Not actually sure what the current plan is. We can see back at home the Hotspur has built up a few drones. He's gonna throw down some spine crawlers here, but the big wave is already on the way. Lots of Roaches now popping out for Hyun, and you know, this is that kind of spot. Whereas as the Zerg who's done this kind of Jerry build, you're kind of thinking, well, I'm in a lot of trouble right now. He's going to throw down 5 spines. We've got a lot of Lings coming out, but the big thing is that he's now at 22 drones to 43. And we haven't even had the attack start yet. Can't even wait until Hyun actually gets his units inside and goes for the big push, but we've just had a few more Roaches now popping out. Of course, they do have +1 on their weapons. They're going to start marching their way across the map. Their Roach speed is all done. They are moving around quite quickly. Hyun even going to take a 3rd base just to make sure that he is the most comfortable he can possibly be. It looks like Hotspur was looking to try and set up some kind of flank perhaps, or maybe a little bit of a run by to try and catch his opponent off guard. But I mean, back at home, Hotspur just trying to you know, salvage some time here. The lair is being morphed in. Hyun's is already done. He's going to have, of course, you know, he's had that for quite a while. The roach speed all done, +2 to weapons, almost halfway done as well. And Hotspur, well, he's going to send some Lings out, wants to see what's going on the map. He will be able to see that 3rd base is there. The Lings now trying to find their way inside the main. If he can possibly find some way to, you know, buy himself some time by killing off some drones inside the natural, maybe killing off the Roach Warren, or, you know, getting inside and killing off a spawning pool, something like that, then he has, you know, at least some sort of possible semblance of coming back into this game. But I mean, just the position that he's in right now, down on workers, he's down on, you know, his tech as well, with the lair only just finishing up. He will throw down a Spire, but even then, a Spire, he's going to struggle to actually bring in enough resources to make that worth it, because when it comes down to it, as we said before, all you need, a couple of spores, just sort of position them around however you please, and then the mutas can't actually get a single thing done. So Hyun is just putting himself in a powerful position right now, 54 drones to 39, and it looks as if we've got a sweeping attack from the bottom and the top. Lings inside the middle of the map here. Not sure what these guys are doing, just a bit of dancing in there, a bit of a waltz practice for those Lings. It looks like he's trying to find, trying to catch Hyun out when he's sort of out of position, but I mean, there's just so much that he has to compete with. The unit count right now sitting at 168 supply to 71. He's like less than half of what his opponent has right now, which is just a really troublesome position for Hotspur to be in. So We can see now he's going to try and make his way across. Will he be able to get inside and get some damage done? Looks like Roaches blocking off the front door like a big plug there. But now the Roach is just going to pretty much 1A, and like, I don't even think you need to really control those Roaches too much here. They're just going to push their way through. Might try and just bulldog his way across to, you know, get in a good position.